You're listening to
But First, a Big Brother podcast.
Hosted by superfans
Nick,
Praz and Jill.
Well, yeah, I just felt like we have to get started because we keep trying to text each other and then say, save it for the
Save
pod.
it for the pod.
Nick's new catchphrase.
Mm-hmm.
So I really think, we just had to jump on. We've had less than 24 hours to digest what we've seen.
Yeah, can we all talk about how it didn't start till 9 o'clock and we were all pissed about that?
Oh my goodness. I was so tired. First off, I didn't know it was going to be a 2-hour premiere. And then, of course, Praz was like, they got to make up for all that ad time they lost.
It's true. There were a lot of ads. And it was tough because, we DVR'd it and then we're like waiting to start it. But I was anxious, so I didn't want to get so behind you guys. So I started it after about half an hour, so around 9:30, and that wasn't enough. So that means there was over a half an hour of ads in it because by an hour and a half in, I had caught up with my DVR and I just sadly could not fast forward anymore.
I watched it live using CBS All Access.
Oh, great.
So I took notes, and I just have to say right off the bat that this was one of the best episodes of Big Brother in a long time, and certainly one of the best premieres in a long time. It had energy. It was different. The pandemic has forced Alison Grodner to do something different, which is great. The stage was beautiful. I've never seen technology like that before. I really appreciated the amount of work that went into it, and it wasn't just, okay, everybody get in the house and we're going live. That's what I was expecting it to be, more of a cattle call, but this was actually really well done.
Yeah, I agree. I think the reason why it felt so invigorating and one of the best in a while, the live cast reveal really made a difference, I think. I tried to stay off social from when the East Coast was airing, and I managed to do so. And I was of course, actually a lot of the rumors were true, obviously.
All of them.
Yeah, which we can discuss, but there were genuine moments of where I was I can't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was definitely a little less because after the fifth one was accurate, the fifth rumor that I didn't believe what ended up being true, I was okay, I guess the blogs or whatever just had it all right, because literally every single person that I was no, that's bullshit, no way. But I don't know.
Who did you think prior to seeing it was really total bullshit?
Kaser. I was but we shouldn't jump ahead. I think we really should. Nick,
yes.
What was your first note?
Okay, my first note was the stage is gorgeous, and then it was the masks. The fact that they were wearing masks, because I said I hope they make them wear masks. And I love that Julie was like, I'm standing 12 feet away and I'm keeping it safe, and I'm negative and you're negative. We're still, doing all that we can, and you can't take off your mask until you go indoors. I thought that was just really nice. They could have just been yeah, whatever, you're all negative, I'm negative. But I just thought it was funny that they were wearing masks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the stage looked huge, bigger.
Yeah.
Maybe because no one else was in there, but
no, it's definitely bigger. And if you notice, they walk downstairs, which I don't think they've ever done that before. They must have known, since they wouldn't have a live audience, they could maybe expand it or something. It's just gigantic.
True.
I don't even want Julie to be there in person. I want her to appear on the walls in house guests.
Well, what do you think of her dress?
I liked it, except for the bow.
Oh, no. We're going to have to just it's the first. As soon as I saw her, I said, well, first night, first ugly dress. Let's go.
I didn't think it was ugly. I just thought the bow was unnecessary.
I said, Julie's dress is so cute, but maybe I've been wearing sweatpants for 5 months. And then John noticed that she was wearing more than one cross necklace. Layered cross necklaces.
See, I just thought that was a shadow, because I was oh, it's so weird that she's wearing a cross. And then I saw it again. I was oh, did it rub off on her? So
No, I mean, he was like, she's wearing multiple crosses, and I was like,
No, yeah, she is. She was
feeling
for sure.
My note, beyond the stage and Julie and stuff was just like the first one. I was like, all right, duh. When it was Nicole, I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I have a big question though about getting into like those packages. Who shot those packages?
Some of them were good, and some were like, yeah, it looked
Right.
like there was like jelly on the lens of the camera. Like, I was like,
I feel like they must have sent, I guess, cameras and an audio package to the families, and maybe they did it.
maybe.
yeah.
They definitely like took their cast photos with an iPhone, like the photos that are on a website.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah, they're very low quality.
Any other thoughts on Nicole?
I find her unnecessary for this season.
It's like she's already been on a couple seasons, and I know, like, obviously many of them have been on a couple seasons, but I don't think I need her back,
I just kind of am like, she just won. Like, she's so recent.
Right.
It'd be like having Casey.
Well, someone I was really excited to see was Danielle.
Yeah, so
Oh,
excited.
I liked seeing Danielle too. I hadn't even realized it had been so long since she last played. But I was confused because when she was introducing herself, she was like, "Oh, most people associate me with somebody that I used to play with, or like they remember me having played with somebody else." And I'm like, is she referring to her dad, Evil Dick? And if so, why is she just calling him somebody else?
So, in my opinion, and I think I can find some evidence of this maybe, they do not speak and they are not on good terms. And she considers him a piece of shit like the rest of us do, maybe. I do at least. And I think she just
Hmm.
like doesn't want to feel associated with him or even mention him.
I knew that they had some, like, obviously they had like turmoil before they ever even played together, and then I knew they
Yeah.
had some, but I thought it was all about like I thought I remember reading that she was upset like about the wedding gifts he did or didn't get her or something something that seemed kind of petty, and then I thought for some reason maybe that they had worked it out because the reason I had heard she was going to be on the show is I think Evil Dick had like let it like kind of spill. So
Oh, interesting.
I just assumed they were like, somewhat back in touch, especially since she is like a kid now. I don't know though.
I did like seeing her, and I like that she was just like trying. She's like, I need to get back in shape.
Wait, I also just need to really quickly go back for a second. I'm now looking at the cast photos. These truly look like they were taken with a potato. Like it's
Yeah.
some of the worst quality I've ever seen. I can't, why didn't they just take pictures when they got to this? I mean, I guess I don't know. This is so funny to me. Everyone should check out cbs.com.
One thing that about Danny too, like I actually think her cast photo looks nice. When I was looking at
It's
her
the best one for sure.
yeah, when I was watching her package, and then they would flash back to season, what was it, season 14 when she came back. I just wish she would go brunette again, but that's
I liked her as brunette. I like her anyway. I just do. I've always been a fan of hers. I do think it's weird though that she thinks she deserved to win in season 8 because she did not.
absolutely not.
No.
And it's crazy to me because John's like, I know she's younger than us, but why do I feel like she's older than, because she was like 19 when she played, and
oh my god,
she
really?
was like the youngest. She wasn't allowed to drink or do anything.
yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that. Wow.
I was excited to see her, excited to see what she might be able to pull off this season.
Agreed.
Davon.
Yes.
I just wrote 3 exclamation points.
I liked her package, or she's like, I'm not Mama Day, but I came to play, or something like that.
Yeah, she's great, and I was excited to see her like right off the bat. So, and I like that they highlighted her, or that they're bringing her back as like an all-star, and you don't have to be like top whatever to necessarily be an all-star.
Oh yeah.
I feel like amongst the Big Brother fans, like she's one of the like faves in terms of she's just a good character, she knows how to make good TV.
Yeah.
And I wish she would have been like, since the last time I saw you, I became a meme.
Yeah.
instead
Oh
of
my
a
God.
mom.
I know. Yes. That's so funny.
Well, yeah, after Davon, we all could have just snoozed through the next 5 minutes because we just had to watch a package on Christmas.
I like Christmas.
You
I
do?
love her name. I loved in her season when she would enter the room and they would play
The
Jingle
Jingle
Bells
Bells.
and they would make her wheelie thing all squeaky.
Yes. That's the only thing I liked was the Jingle
So
Bells.
I thought the Jingle Bells was so funny. I love that her name is Christmas. I think she got a raw deal. I like that she's back to at least prove that she can do something.
I'm
And
pretty sure I said I hope she breaks her foot again, and you said me too.
Me
yes,
too.
because it
Yeah.
would be hysterical if she broke her foot in the opening HOH challenge. That would have been funny. It's not that I dislike her. I just think it would have been really funny. And if ever there was like a competition to break your foot on, it's the one where you're jumping on pedestals.
It could have happened for sure. It felt like sometimes I was like, oh no, their falls felt. I know we're jumping ahead, but it could have been.
What do you think of Christmas, Jill?
I mean, I think I'm just like very in the middle with her. It's like, okay, like I don't really care either way. I mean, I don't think she was robbed. I mean, it was
No.
unfortunate that she broke her ankle, but it was her fault. It was just so stupid. It was
If anything, I think it might have gotten her further in the season.
Yes, you're probably right.
I wrote, "Why is she here?" And then I wrote, "Did not remember she was third place."
I will
didn't
agree with that.
either.
I didn't either. Yeah, when they showed that, I was like, oh, who knew?
Want to hear something interesting about Christmas, though?
Of course.
On her season, she was the oldest woman.
Oh my God, how old is she?
Right
Like
now, she's
30?
39.
Wow, that's
No,
crazy.
she's 38 now.
So she was
Wow.
like 34 or something.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think I remember being outraged by that.
And I'm Christmas.
Basically, after we saw her package was right when we were confronted with the 4 contestants on the stage, and then we were getting a competition right away, and I was like, this is too much to handle. And I was like pretty much pleased with even with Christmas. I was like, okay, that's a solid like first 4.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that competition though, I have a perhaps controversial opinion about the competition, but I'll let you guys maybe share your thoughts.
So I didn't understand what the competition was at first. I thought they got the clue and then had to go inside and find the item and then like go out and like retrieve it. I didn't know what they were doing. And then I did not know that they needed to land the ball in the maze in a specific room to answer the question. I just had no idea what was going on. I was just like, oh, that thing looks heavy. And I thought they just had to get the ball from one end to the other.
That looked hard, and they were all like huffing and puffing, like it seemed so hard.
So at first when I was watching it, my initial instinct was like, how do the producers account for this time? Like, I didn't realize that there would be a time limit. Once she said, like, okay, you have a minute left, I was like, okay, that's how they accounted for it, because that first group of 4 took so long to even get even close to the end. And then throughout the rest, not to jump forward, but it did seem odd that the men's rooms were closer on the thing.
Yes, exactly. That is I am angry. Okay. They did say off the bat, you'll have 4 minutes. I'm pretty sure they said that.
I just totally missed that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they said that like 4 minutes total. But I did wonder because I was like, well, they said 2 people are going to advance. So what if a second person doesn't get it? Not realizing that, oh no, we'll just advance one person. And both of the women's heats, they put the balls had to go in the 2 hardest locations, and both of the men's heats it was not the hardest locations, so that's why 4 men went forward and only or was it 3? 4.
Yes go off.
Yep. And I like that you're on the all men must die train this season.
Of course. I am. Well, we'll see.
We're not the only ones saying it. I've seen other people say it online. Like it just it was so obvious.
Like at least make one of those harder locations go to the men, and then it's completely fair. And I great, like do that. But I don't think it's fair to give the 2 hardest spots to the 2 women's heats, and then you're giving like less opportunity for the women to move forward as HOH. So
yeah, for
totally
it to be
agree.
100% fair, it should have just been the same answer for everybody.
Yeah,
right,
that's
that's
true
true.
too.
But hey,
because really they weren't.
snowflakes, not everybody gets a medal.
Who was it even? Only Christmas.
Christmas.
Yep.
Ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding. Your war on Christmas is going to go all season.
I am the red cup and of Starbucks, the plain red cup, and so then right after that competition, we went right into the next 4 packages of house guests, and the first one we saw was Tyler.
Yes. Tyler is, in my opinion, one of the best players of Big Brother ever.
What are you on crack?
He should have won for sure.
Yes, I don't disagree with you there, but like,
his was so just like butthurt that he lied to them and wasn't there to be their friend. He played such a good game by lying to everybody. And yes, Jill, I know you'll argue that jury management is part of playing the game. However, outside of that, I feel like he played just the best game. He survived. I remember they like really wanted him out, and he just kept like tricking everybody into keeping him. And the fact that Casey won over him, what a joke. What a joke.
I just can't believe he's still with Angela.
It's amazing.
I honestly forgot about her until he mentioned her, and I was like, oh wow, they're still together? How about you, Jill?
I don't deny that he should have beat Casey. Like, I agree with that 100%. I just like, it's a big do not care. Like like, fix that hair of yours. Shut up. I don't care what you have to say. Like, good night.
John
goodbye.
was like, his hair's gotten worse.
It did get worse. Like, come on, switch it up.
Well, the next person that they brought in was Ian. And my note is I hate Ian's energy with 4 exclamation points.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like I do not understand your take on this, Nick. Like,
oh my
I
gosh.
really don't. Like, I was so excited. That was the first like true gasp, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I did not expect to see him.
I think Ian is like the only one I was truly surprised. Like,
yeah.
Like happy but surprised, because I'm not sure I saw that on any of the rumors.
Mm-hmm.
I was very excited to see him back.
Me too.
He creeps me out. He has such this weird attitude about him. He's the type of person who, like, in high school, you'd be like, hey, give me the answers. And they would just be like, no. Like, they're too good to even let you cheat off of that.
Nick, that's not a bad thing.
I don't like that. Like, and did you see him playing backgammon with his girlfriend, like rubbing her face in the fact that he was winning? He's like, yeah, that's the best points I could get. I don't know. Everything about him creeps me out. I remember him like praying for like a veto one time, and that creeped me out. I'm just not an Ian fan. I wasn't an Ian fan his season. Not an Ian fan this season.
We're on like very different
pages
for a lot of
it's interesting, yeah.
Want to hear something interesting about Ian?
Yeah.
He's not 30 yet. He's 29.
Wow. Good for him. You know, youth. Wish I had it.
That means, like, what was he, like 10 years old when he played?
I know, right? I think Ian's funny. I think they're going to be scared of him, so I think he might be a target early because they're going to be worried about how smart he is. But like, even if you watched towards like the end of the episode when they were all kind of like socializing in the living room, he's so nervous and awkward, and it just cracks me up so much. Like, I don't know. I really feel like he's a great player.
What cracked me up was him being like, I'm going to pretend to be a dope. And I was like, everyone saw your season. We know you're not a dope. Like, you can't do that now. It's not your first season. So that was a little weird to me. Like, he's going to try to play dumb. And I'm like, you can't play dumb. We know you're brilliant. Like,
well, the next person, I have to admit, when I first heard the name, I like did not remember. And that would be Kevin.
Oh, love Kevin. I was huge fan of Kevin, although I did not want him to win season 11. I was definitely like on a Jordan brainwash, like America's vote. Like, and I still like Jordan, and I still think she's like lovely. And I still was really proud of her in those final 3 HOH comps, like her. And I'm just trying to justify my Jordan love of season 11, but I loved Kevin. Like, I thought he was so funny, and you know, I do think he would have won his season had he won that final HOH for sure.
Well, I think Nick might have a different take on this.
Wish I could share those sentiments. In fact, my notes were all capitals, not Kevin, exclamation point.
Oh my God.
He aligned himself with Need, I remind you, Natalie,
yeah.
Jesse, Russell, all the people we hated in season 11 when he could have just been friends with Jordan and been like somebody we cared for. Instead, he had to align himself with all these terrible people. And for that, I can forgive, but I will not forget. I will not. Their whole like narrative in season 11 was avenging Jesse. And that was their whole motive. And it was just like, Kevin, play for yourself. But, you know, it should be interesting to see him. I mean, he's certainly probably the oldest gay they've ever had on the show, although I don't remember how old Reagan was. He's probably up there too.
God.
When you guys are talking, like, because I definitely watched the season. I remember Jordan, I remember Jesse, all the stuff, but I just did a quick Google to try to figure out when was season 11. And looking at the timeline, it was a very busy time in my life because I moved from Los Angeles to New York that summer, right in July when it started. So perhaps I'm just, you know, my memory's a little off from, I was living with my parents. So I'm just going to chalk it up to that. So
I think, Jill, you're going to like him. I think.
Yes. I'm already like, I was like, I don't know if I really remember, but I love him.
I was sending Jill photos from season 11. She's like, nope, no memory.
It was a little bit of a surprise, I think, for me to see him on the All-Star list and to actually then see him. But it was like a pleasant surprise. Totally. Not everyone can be like, you know, a Janelle.
Ain't that right?
You guys seemed very skeptical that Enzo was going to be cast on this.
I just don't find him remarkable. Is the thing.
I agree. Yeah.
I mean, I think like the packages definitely helped, like remind me of people's highlights and maybe they're like, you know, not so great moments as well. But I guess he made it to the final 3 in his season, and you know he was part of that like brigade, which was like, you know. It truly was a very successfful alliance. Like,
I know. It just, I remember on his bio, it says he was member of the brigade, one of the most famous and successful alliances in BB history. Ugh. You guys know I hate when they name alliances, so.
They name them. I didn't know that either. Like, they do it so much that, like, I don't know how you could hate it. It's just part of Big Brother.
It. But I don't like the process of the naming. I think every alliance needs a name, but I hate when they're like immediately like, and then they even on bullshit alliances they spend like a long time like working on like a stupid name. They went and did the competition, and again, I think it was like a much easier ball to sink.
Agreed.
Ian, you know, was the first one to sink it, and who was it? Kevin?
Yeah,
Ian and Kevin. So, I mean, I was at least happy that like Tyler and Enzo didn't like, you know, railroad them and make it to the comp. But, you know, I still think it was rigged against the women.
Our next contestant was none other than Janelle.
Yay! I love Janelle.
She's hands down my number one favorite Big Brother player of all time. I know on the pod last episode I was saying that she was not wonderful the last time she played, and she wasn't. But
I thought you were going to take it back.
Oh no! I mean, I love Janelle, and just having her back.
Yeah, you stand Janelle.
Yeah, I always have. I always will. I was born a Janelle fave. Like, it was. Just having her back on my TV for the summer, like, felt good. It just felt like olden times. So that was great. I like that she was like, I'm here to show you don't have to be 25 to win Big Brother, because amen, sister. That's what I've been preaching for the past 10 years. And I like that she's like, do I have the same body I did when I was 25? No. And I was like, you know what? Good for her.
I have to say about Janelle, one, I recently did like a purge on my Instagram and just like unfollowed a lot of like famous and show accounts just because I was like I wanted my Instagram to be like, you know, my friends, but I left Janelle on there and she's like one of the only like pseudo celebrities that I still follow, which was why I guess I was surprised, even though I'd seen her rumored, you know, that she was going to be on the show. I was just like, I don't know, because she's still at home in Minnesota with her perfect family, but I guess the allure of coming back was too strong for her. Are you a Janelle fan, Jill?
Yeah. So okay. I did not watch season 6. I know.
What?
So I know. I don't. I took a break, but I'd watch like season 1 and 2. But anyways, I don't actually know Janelle and Kesar like all that well. But then Janelle was on the other season, so I knew her from that, and I just know her as because of Nick, basically. But I stan a queen. I know how good she is. She looks fantastic. I'm all
She holds the record for being in the house the most amount of days.
yeah.
She
I'm here
makes
for
it
her
to the final
100%.
3.
Yeah, and then doesn't win.
I love her. I was a big fan, and I'm happy to see her, and I'm hoping she can like do more than she did in whatever
Yes,
season that
I've
was.
put I've cast a spell, like a prayer circle
Yeah.
around her and Kaser, like that they don't get nominated or at least survive week 1.
The next person to pop on our screen, I was super excited about, because I think she's also a queen, Miss Bailey. The silence. No one cares.
I like her. I don't think she's an all-star.
I think she's fine and she's entertaining. I think the term all-star is also just like who's going to make good TV at this point. And
Yeah.
I like Bailey. I can't say I was neither disappointed nor excited to see her, just because I honestly kind of forgot about her until they were like, oh, here's the Swaggy C stuff, and I was like, oh yeah. That story's wild. She was funny, and I just think she's entertaining and somebody people like to watch, you know, and I'm fine with that.
To me, it was like she's kind of like a Nicole F to me, where like she's fine, she's great, like I like her. I don't have any like I'm not like ew, I hate her or anything. I just I think I kind of like, oh, okay, like. But again, I think I had that about a few people. So, I mean, I'm excited to see what she does. But it's weird to me that I remember Swaggy C more than her when Swaggy got like evicted right away.
Right.
And like she was on the show way longer. But I just think because I remember Swaggy C.
I think that because I watched the challenge, I just have a little bit of like a different, because I literally just got off a season of watching an entire season
I
of
do
her.
watch the challenge, but I have not watched the last season. So do not spoil for me.
Got it. I will not at all, but like she is in it and she makes for good television.
Okay.
And so I think that's also why I just have a little bit of a different take on her. I also just think her skin is the most flawless, beautiful thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And you know, I just feel like they need more Black representation on that show, honestly. Like,
I love
really,
that.
like, and a major thing. So, like, I think she's a great representation. I'm glad they didn't just have Devon as a Black female. So, you know, I'm glad to have her in the house.
Oh, totally. Yeah, so next up, we saw someone that it hasn't been too long since we've seen her, but it's still nice to see her. We got to see Nicole from last season.
And you know what? Good for her. It feels like it was 5 years ago. Like, it doesn't feel like it was last year to me for some reason. I don't know, maybe because Quar, but I do like Nicole and I love her accent. And I like that she seems like she's somebody who gets it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I like Nicole. I know we all were rooting for her last season. At a certain point, it was like, I think last season was one of those seasons where I was like, by the end, like, I don't think I watched, like I said in our last pod, I don't think I watched even a second of live feeds last year. And like, I don't know if I'll be like pulling for her this season necessarily. I have so many other favorites that are on, but I was happy to see her.
I do think that her and Ian should form a nerd alliance of some sort.
Yes, definitely. But I think that's like almost so predictable that like
right.
But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, this is jumping ahead a little bit, but what cracks me up about her is that during the HOH, like as soon as everyone did the same thing and they stepped on that third big, you know, whatever it was, pillar that wobbled, and then they would go back and go the other way. She went back to the third one that
I
wobbled,
know, I
like
couldn't believe it.
thinking that it would, I guess, if she was steady, that it would just crack me up that she did that. So she's sort of like always just this like LOL, like, oh, Nicole, that kind of vibe. I think that, someone who Nick actually knows, like, actually ended up being the next person coming into the
Exactly.
house.
Order up. We got Keisha on 3. Keisha, one of the first things out of her mouth was, I'm a waitress. And if you guys, my loyal listeners, know, we already knew that because Keisha was my waitress once in Hollywood. So I like that she's been keeping it consistent for the past 10. She looks great for being like in her 40s, which I was shocked that she was up there. And I was always a Keisha fan, so I like that she also mentioned her birthday. I thought it was weird. Like, I just thought her thing of being like, I wouldn't be as trusting. It's like, yeah, no crap. Like, why would you trust anybody? It's a game. So, like, that was just like a weak answer. But I hope that she does not become like an easy nom pawn type. Like, I feel like she and Enzo are somebody that you could just throw up on the block and be like, "You're good, you're good." So I would hate to see that for dear Quiche, but I was excited to see her, and she and Danielle Donato look a lot alike.
Always, I've always thought that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I did not remember that Keisha was America's favorite. Like, okay.
She won America. Oh my god.
Yeah, they showed that in the package. I did not remember that at all, and I also didn't remember that she made it so far. So
I
again,
did.
I guess my memory's a little hazy on some of the seasons that I've only watched like that first time and never gone back to rewatch. But well, then all the women were in the house, and we got to see that second part of the rigged competition. And yeah, those two far corners just felt so hard and impossible to get to.
Yeah,
And
so hard.
only Nicole made it through. So like
Yeah,
go Nicole,
crazy.
but like
Yep.
what the hell?
It's very annoying. And like, why couldn't you maybe have figured out, looked at the tape and said who was the closest when the time was up or something like that? I don't know.
Right. Well, then we, went to the last group of the guys, and wow, I know I said it earlier in the episode, but like just seeing Kaser was like I couldn't believe it. I don't know why. I just really didn't think they were going to bring him back. He's as much as like, oh yeah, he was on 6 and 7 just like Janelle was. Like after season 7, I don't think we've heard from him at all.
Yeah.
Like so it was interesting, and right away I was just like, bring Howie back too, bring James back too. Like I started thinking of all the season 6 and 7 people that I loved, that I would have been like, let's just make this another season 6 and 7. But
he looked so different to me. Like I truly didn't even recognize him.
He's definitely like, an adult father now.
Yeah. Right.
And I loved the little package of him being like, yes, I'd like to talk about the 2021 roadmap. As like, they were just like, yeah, can you just like pretend to be on a work call and say work things?
Yeah. I was very excited to see him because, like you said, like he just kind of like disappeared after season 7. He's not a personality, so I really, really, really liked seeing him. And again, it's just because it brings me back to like my Big Brother pure roots.
And it's so funny because, like, I always think of him as being, like, such a good player. But, like, when he brought it up, like, yeah, I've never made jury. I was like, oh, yeah. And he makes some of the dumbest moves in the game. Like, when he let go of the button. Like, when he got voted back in. Like, oh, I still think, like, it makes me angry when I think about it. Because he could have, like, gone so much further. So I really hope, like, he can rewrite history in season 22.
I hope so, but I feel like for the HOH, he's like just like an easy nom. Especially, Cody, who, spoiler, HOH, he was like, wow, Julie, you had to go really deep back to get Kaser. Like, he's aware of him, but he doesn't, and he probably doesn't, he's not as familiar with him, so he could also just be like, oh, like, he's a threat.
the people who are probably now like Big Brother super fans who've been on the show, but who probably weren't when they were cast, I doubt they've gone back and watched like before their season. So like, I don't know. Was Cody a Big Brother super fan? I think probably not. And I think he's watched every season since? Yes, probably. But do I think he went back and watched season 6 and 7? No. So like, does he know who a lot of these people are? Probably not.
Right.
So.
And speaking of Cody, Jill.
Yeah, speaking of Cody, he was the next person in, and I cannot even tell you the groan that came out of
Jill,
my mouth.
I'm pretty sure you loved him on his season.
No. I was a Frankie and Zach person on that season.
Lest we forget.
I absolutely was not a Cody or like. Okay, I'm sure I considered him handsome in whatever year that was, season 16. And I don't want to like hold him up against his brother, but his brother truly on the challenge is one of the worst human beings and characters in the entire world. So I think that like unfortunately makes me think worse of Cody.
Oh yeah. Well, when he appeared, I said, "Well, at least it's not Pauly."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like and also Cody. I had forgotten how far he had made it, especially when like I forgot that he voted out Victoria in the final 3 and basically gave Derek the win. Like, I'm sorry, but that's
100%.
And he's like, people say that was a mistake, but I was just keeping my word. It's like, no, it's a mistake. You lost. The goal of the show is to win, and you would have won against Victoria. Like, a squirrel would have won against Victoria. Although, I wish Victoria was back this season, because she's It's just like, you know, he's going to be like, bro. And, like, the fact that, like, he's all about, like, what alliance was he in? The Renegades?
Hitmen.
Yeah.
He was the hitman,
Derek,
so it's like, it's like, oh, we're the hitman. And then, you know, our next guy who came in, he was a renegade, Memphis, and so it's kind of interesting how they really like play up these like, you were a renegade and you're a hitman. Like, I will say Memphis looks great. He looks completely different, but he looks great.
Completely
And he feels genuine and eager to play. Like, that's what I really liked about his energy and everything about him. Like, it felt like he was happy to be there. That jump he did at the end of the HOH competition, I was like, okay, good for you, Dad. Like, everything about him just feels really genuine. And and at first I was like, I don't remember this person. And I kind of still don't, because I guess, you know, like he was in Dan's season.
With Dan, right. I agree.
But I am excited to see him play. I think he looks great.
The first thing that came to mind when I saw him after seeing the previous like groups package was like, oh, this will be interesting with him and Keisha. Because at this point I'm like, okay, Kaser and Janelle and Keisha and Memphis. Like, I'm starting to like pair the people up that like I know each other or played together. And it's right away I was like, because Keisha had just talked about basically being screwed over by Memphis. I started to then think like, is it going to be an old school versus new school thing, or you know, because it seems like not fully like a fully even split, but like there's enough of the older school players, and I even think like some of the ones that have played more recently might like who I know are super fans could like go in that direction. So right away, just like with seeing Memphis, even though he's not like from the oldest season we have like on All Stars, he definitely jumped out at me as like one of those old school players, and I could think I am excited to see him play again.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. Like,
he does look unrecognizable though. Like, is it Botox?
100%. I thought it was just age and a little bit of weight. Like, I was just
like, he's definitely like a little thicker.
Totally different.
Is he? Yeah. He's only 37.
Okay, I'm looking at like old pics, and he actually doesn't look that different. Like, I'm looking at a side by side.
I thought he did.
I mean, I thought he did too, but looking at old pics,
yeah, now I'm looking at pics. Like, he doesn't look that different. It's just he was a very 2010 style.
Yeah,
and those blazers. You know, I was at that rap party. I should go through my photos and see if I have one with him.
Well, should we get to our last house guest?
Yeah. So yeah, the last person we saw was David from last season. So again, another like possible duo I was thinking was like Nicole and David, because like they have played together.
but not really.
No, that's the thing, is they didn't really play together.
Yeah.
I like that David is back, considering the fact that last season he got done dirty, thrown out on like day one, never got to play, and then we were stuck with a house full of like awful racist men. I know today or yesterday on the feeds, Janelle was like, "Why is David here? He never even casted a vote." And I'm like, I think she was joking, but like, I get it why people might be like, he's not an all-star, but I think he had a lot of potential. And Julie did say that they brought back people who didn't get a fair shot.
Yeah.
Also, he looks amazing.
Oh,
he looks amazing.
So
his
great.
Skin is beautiful. And he also looks just starstruck and happy to be there too.
You know, knowing that they have to dive into like last season or whatever, or like the more recent seasons, like he's definitely someone who you're like, oh, he didn't get a fair chance at all. And I agree, like a la Jody, who I would have loved to see back. But you know, we didn't get Jody, but we got David, and David's great. I don't know. Like, I think Janelle asking that is like fair, because it's like,
sure,
I think if Jody were like, he got kicked out in a very similar fashion to Jody, where like he didn't get voted out, and
can you hear me?
Yeah, it sounds like you're in like Stranger Things in the realm.
No, it's Jody.
Oh my god, that sounded so weird.
Hello?
Yeah, okay, it's better.
So wait, so what was I saying about David? I think like it is almost similar to having like a Jody back, where you're like, I can kind of understand why other house guests who actually have, including Janelle, who's played 170 some days in the house, is like, how is this guy an all-star?
I just think that it's cool that they're defining, you know, all-star in a different kind of way. And like, if you remember when he was on the show, the very small time he was on the show, he had them figured out so quickly. Like, he's a super smart player, and I think it'll be interesting. I guess I'm a tad worried that he could be targeted quickly because of his last season's performance, but I'm excited to see him actually hopefully play the game.
Yeah, he had everybody's number last season, so
we went into the last like phase of that competition, and you know, Cody and Memphis predictably, you know, finished it and moved on. And then everyone got to like basically reunite before they did the final competition.
Okay, we have to address the situation.
Oh,
she lost control.
I have a note for that too. Like, it's just like, no hugging. House guests, you can hug when I'm the last person to sit down is evicted. Kidding.
Her jokes are so not good.
Kidding. She really wants it to be apparent that she's joking, but if their jokes are funny, you don't have to say that's a joke. Like, house guests, and then like she's like, "Ooh, I like this power." House guests.
Oh my gosh.
They can't even hear me, can you?
It's so funny. It was just the funniest thing. She was truly malfunctioning from night one.
She had no control. It was like, it's just always funny when that happens, especially like live. Oh my gosh. It's like,
also when the have not room couldn't open.
Oh my gosh,
like, I promise it
my god. Oh my god. I was like, this is so bad.
But something else she said before they got into that last competition, she did this whole like, raise your hand if this and blah blah blah. And she said something.
Oh, this was amazing. So, Julie, we know you're listening, Julie girl. So, thank you. Thanks for the 5-star review. So, as you know, in the last episode, Jill famously said,
I said that there are more successful couples from Big Brother than The Bachelor.
And what did Julie say on premiere night?
That exact same thing.
Yep.
We all freaked out. She kind of winked at us when she said it too. So thank you, Julie. So not only did Julie say what Jill said, but I have a friend who works on The Bachelor who, after listening to our podcast, texted me saying how it wasn't true, that that's a lie, that Big Brother has more couples. And then Julie goes on air on national television and basically throws the gauntlet at The Bachelor saying it's true. And so I actually invited that friend to come onto the pod to refute, and he won't do it. So I think he knows that we all know that Big Brother has more successful couples than The Bachelor.
Okay. I'm making a promise that before the next episode, I'm actually going to do the work. I'm going to look up the numbers. I'm going to do the math because I actually am now like super fascinated because to me, your said friend is like on crack because it's just there's no way it's possible. But let me run the numbers. Let me do a little math.
Yeah, please do the math, Jill. Crunch the numbers. Here's the thing.
I will.
I believe you, and I've never seen an episode of any Bachelors, and I can tell you that Big Brother has more relationships. And I don't, successful or not, I would say. I don't even want to use the word successful. I would just say relationships.
Right.
Well, when Julie said that, when this all happened, my goodness, our text messages were lighting up, and all we could say was, save it for the pod.
What did we get after? Was that then we went to the HOH or no?
Before I even saw what the competition was, John goes, "Who do you think's gonna win?" Before we weren't even back from the commercial break, and I said Cody's gonna win. And then he goes, "Okay, well, let's see what the competition is, and maybe you can change your mind." And then we saw the competition, and I said Cody's gonna win, and John said, "No, Ian's gonna win," and I said, "No, Cody's gonna win this."
Wow.
You're a witch. You made it happen.
Yep. Yeah. Not that I wanted it to happen, but I just knew his little soccer feet would get over those things quickly. And I was like, yep, he's like, there's no way. And I was glad they didn't let them watch each other because I thought that would be an unfair advantage.
Yeah. As soon as I saw the time, I was like, there's no one beating him. I actually and listen, I do have to give it to him. Like, how did he get across that fast? That was crazy.
And then when we watched Memphis go, where John and I are like, ooh, like every time, and that's immediately when I was like, she's gonna break her foot, like thinking about Christmas. I was like, yes. Like we touched on it earlier with Nicole forgetting her route, and even Ian forgot which one he had already stepped, or was Ian throwing the competition? Who knows? But
yeah, good question.
But it didn't matter at that point. I think no one was going to be able to beat Cody's time anyway.
He went so fast, and he wanted it. He said he wanted to get it, and
they had to pick their envelopes, and it was like someone. I was like, oh, are they already going to do unitards and stuff? But no, it was just have-nots or win money, and Christmas won $5,000. Good for her. And the rest are have-nots. So then I was like, that answers a question. It was like Julie really did listen to our podcast.
Yes. She did.
I know.
She's like, I listened.
I thought about you at first. Immediately I thought of you, Praz.
Me too. If that was pre-taped, they would have put up #Christmas bonus.
That would have been good.
Oh, that's a good one. That's very funny.
The whole debacle with the have-not room malfunctioning was funny, but annoying. I was like, how does this happen?
Yeah,
and
really weird because they were standing in the hallway and she's like, you have to crawl. And it's like, well, no, they're not there yet, Julie.
Yeah, I was like, crawl where? I was so confused. And then she's like, open the door, go in, and then crawl. These poor have-nots. I'm sure it's awful. But something else she said when they came back, I believe. What's the safety suite?
This is what I'm about to tell you in the spoiler zone.
Oh, so we're about to enter the spoiler zone?
Yeah.
Okay, so, hey guys, it's been 4 years, but we're about to enter the spoiler zone. So if you don't like spoilers, get the F out.
So I don't know exactly what the safety suite is at the moment. However, I do know that Kaser won it and he saved himself and Danielle for the week.
Yeah!
Yay! Wow. Oh my god, that's so exciting.
There is a little twist with the safety suite. We don't know what it is yet, but apparently it comes with a price.
Oh, interesting.
Well, I wanted to tune into the feeds last night, but I was too tired after the freaking 2 hours, super late.
Oh my god, I can't. That was so long. So here's who I would nom if I was just in the house and was the first HOH.
If you were Cody or if you were Nick?
If I was myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would nominate Nicole and Ian. Blonde Nicole and Ian. And just be like, you guys already won.
Yeah.
Are they the only two winners?
Yeah.
Actually, I was talking about this last night, and if you can quickly, I think Praz, you might know you sort of already said it, but like who from this current season has played together before?
Let's see. So Memphis and Keisha, Janelle and Kaser, and then I think did Dave Vaughn come back in the season that Nicole came back in?
Yes, I think
right.
so.
So Nicole,
yeah, I think you're right.
And then Nicole A and David.
Right.
So then I probably need to look this up. Bailey and Tyler, and then
interesting. I just wonder if we'll see alliances from all these, past season.
Yeah. So
people.
Kaser told Janelle, or Janelle actually told Kaser, like, we shouldn't be seen together. But this was yesterday, and now that he already picked her to win, like, the thing, maybe the jig is up. But
sure.
but like, they are such a threat together, or at least they were like 100 years ago. And I think just seeing them together like makes them look like a threat.
Well, should we make some predictions?
Yeah, Jill. What do you want us to? What are the prompts?
I mean, like, I truly don't even know what I think. Honestly, I'm being honest. Like, I just thought of this 30 seconds ago. But who do you think is gonna win?
I don't want to doom my favorite because I always seem to pick the like very early outs people. I think Ian.
Wow.
Interesting.
I'm probably not right, but I just want to say,
yeah, of course.
I have a 1 in 16 chance of being correct. What about you, Nick?
Last night I was thinking. Right now I'm looking at the cast. So last night I was thinking Memphis.
I almost said him.
Looking at this cast, I think, and I really hate to say this, I think Cody stands the greatest chance of winning.
Oh. I am gonna go like totally out on a limb. I'm looking at the cast. I think Danielle has a good shot. So I'm gonna put my money on Danielle.
I would be happy with a number of them, like
yes,
Janelle, Davon, Memphis.
Keisha.
Well, Keisha, order up. Since we don't know who's nominated, who do you think will be the first person evicted?
Ooh,
good question. I think he's a coward, so I think he's gonna nominate at least one woman, if not
it's gonna be 2 women. Like, Cody would never nominate Tyler. He would never nominate Memphis.
Yeah, Enzo, David. He might put Ian up because he like doesn't know him that well and views him as a threat.
As much as Cody might like bro out with someone, like I don't know if I think he's like, I think he would be more likely to be like, let me get rid of other threats that are like, I don't think he's going to play that same game that he played in his season because I think he saw that it got him second place.
I think all men are dumb.
I think he's very dumb. Derek played his entire game for him.
If you're Cody, you're teaming up with Tyler, who I love. However, you're Cody, you're teaming up with Tyler. You can't nominate Kaser. So you're like, fine, I'm going to put up Kevin and Keisha. Or I'm going to put up, I have a feeling it'll be Kevin and Keisha will be the first voted out.
I could see that because he could just play an easy game in terms of being like, I don't know you guys that well, like nothing personal.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
if he really wanted to make a move, he would put up Ian. And honestly, I think putting up Ian and Nicole is the best thing to do.
Yeah.
Who do you think, Praz?
If I were him or
both.
I think he could possibly put Enzo up as a pawn and Enzo could go home.
I wouldn't care if Enzo went home.
No, oh my God, would not care.
But I think he could go the winner route, or he could go like David and Nicole A and say like, you're in the most recent season. Like, he wouldn't say that, but he could just say, I don't know you guys as well or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's true.
He's aligned kind of with Nicole. Didn't they play together? Nicole Franzel.
Did they play together? Oh yes, their first season, of course. Yeah. Sorry, Jill. That's another two people that played together. Yeah. I was thinking of Nicole's second season.
Yeah. So Nicole's first season, she played with Cody, and I'm pretty sure she was saying how she and Cody are going to work together, and she's going to pretend like she's working with other people and give Cody the information. Since it's All Stars, I would literally go out swinging and just be like, I would 100% nominate Ian and Nicole. I think it's a big move, but it's also safe because nobody can argue with being like, oh, okay, like they already won.
Yeah.
And also just like personally, I think Ian's super smart. I would just be like, you scare me.
It would be sad funny, just like if Christmas broke her foot, if David did get evicted first again.
Yeah.
But mark my words, listeners, Keisha, my girl, she's gonna be first out.
Wow, big bold statement.
I think she could fly under the radar for a while, considering she flew under my radar for all the that time. I did not remember she made it so far, and that she got America's Favorite. So it was a different time, obviously.
So I know Jill's going to be crunching her own numbers, but I crunched some of my own today, and I've been saving it for the pod. So I calculated the average age of the house this season. So as you know, like we have a mix of ages. They're not all under 30 like past seasons.
Yeah.
So do you guys have any guess? It's the sum of all the contestants divided by 16.
Okay, I have a guess. My guess is 32.
I was going to say 37. Is it Price is Right rules?
Yeah, it's closest without going over.
All right, fine. 36.
The answer is 33.5.
Oh my God, I'm so good.
I was actually shocked. I thought it would be a lot higher. So I then wanted to see how that rated against last year, because it felt like last year they were super young. Last year's average age was 30.5. So we're only up 3 years, but it just feels so different and better. So Nicole's only 25. And so I thought, maybe for last season, remember that old man that Nicole was aligned with?
Oh yeah, what was his name?
Kurt
Cliff?
or something. So
from last season,
Cliff.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, maybe his age of 53 is making that piece much higher. So I removed him from the equation and divided it by 15 instead of 16, and it still came out to like 30 instead of 30.5. So the 53 years didn't actually really make that much difference.
Wow.
Nick, I can't believe you're
I know, I'm crunching numbers, boss. I gotta cook the books.
Well, you guys can be the official But First accounting team.
Anyway, I'm so excited for this season. I love this cast. I haven't been able to say that in years. I'm really excited to see what happens, and I'm looking forward to potting with all of you.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, so excited. I'm just like, last night I was like, oh, I'm so happy to have this back, and I'm so happy that like it's in this time right now, 3 hours a week of good programming. I'm excited.
And for the listeners, if there's anything you want to send us and you want us to save it for the pod, tweet us at Nick Walsh.
We also have an email now. We're butfirstpod@gmail.com. And you can now download our podcast on, or subscribe to our podcast on almost all of your favorite podcast listening services.
We're on Spotify, baby.
Everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Wherever podcasts are sold. From 3 miles down the street from the Big Brother house, I'm Nick.
I'm Praz.
And I'm Jill.
Good night.
Dun,
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 dun, dun, dun, dun, dun,
dun, dun, dun, dun, dun, dun.